we going?
We're going.
Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 3 of Life with Iain and Rosie. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is basically our entire relationship. So today we're going to be discussing how to kind of have a relationship being long distance.
Yeah, so maybe we should fill in some context there, because the thing is, Rosie and I have been dating for 4 years.
4 months.
I nearly said 4 months. We've been dating for 4 years now, and in those 4 years, the longest period of time that we spent together is about 3 months. So,
like the absolute most.
yeah, so in saying that, I would say majority of the time that we have been together, we have actually been separated from each other due to the fact that I've been traveling and competing overseas, and a lot of the trips that I take are quite long trips, and due to Rosie being at university or working or studying, or what else did you do in that time?
That's about it.
That's it, yeah. So due to the fact that Rosie's working here in South Africa, it's just been really tough for us to go on these trips together. So we're just going to explain a little bit about our relationship and how we've dealt with some of the issues that we've had, and just some of the issues that we have had throughout this relationship, because it hasn't been easy. This long distance, I mean, I'm talking for myself here, being overseas the whole time and not having someone with you is really challenging, and especially when it comes down to what the other person is doing back home, and what you're doing when you're away, and just that confusion, I think, that happens for a lot of people, and I'm sure it happens for a lot of people that way.
Yeah, so that's basically been our entire relationship. I mean, I knew going into this relationship that that's what it would be like, because Iain does compete on the world circuit, and I kind of had a lot of people tell me that too before we kind of got serious about our relationship. But yeah, I've always been supportive of him traveling, and I would never try and change that, no matter how hard it is. And there's been times where I from my side have felt very kind of abandoned, because I mean, every time he leaves it never gets easier. You'd think you'd get used to it and it'd be like, oh, we've been through this enough, but it honestly never gets easier. And the more I think we kind of grow in our relationship and we become closer, and all different things happen that kind of make us like do things together more often, and kind of starting to plan our future, I would say. It gets so difficult to just be apart for that period of time, for a long period of time. And it's not like we like kind of apart not doing anything. We're both like really busy, and it's very difficult to kind of keep that, I don't know, that kind of peace, I would say, between us when we are not seeing each other at all, really.
Yeah, it's just, I find it like super difficult to, I mean, in the past we would go for a day where we wouldn't talk, and it would feel like we haven't spoken for so long, and then we get on the phone and we speak to each other, and then it's like, it feels like it really hasn't been that long. And I think that was always the thing. It's like, with technology nowadays, it makes it so much easier to kind of be closer, and all we have to do is pick up a phone, and it's so quick to just video call or FaceTime or WhatsApp call or whatever you're using. And I think that's really helped our relationship. And the fact that there's two things that we do really well, and we trust each other, which is a massive one. And secondly, our communication is really good. Like, for the most part, I knew there was going to be a no.
Can I just like come in on
Yeah.
that? So I think our trust has been amazing. I mean, I've never, in our whole 4 years, I've never like doubted, him going away for this period of time. I've had a lot of people come at me about it, and just from their kind of experiences being long distance relationships, kind of saying things like, oh, you don't know what he's doing over there. And I don't know what he's doing over there, but I 100% trust him. There's never been that uneasy feeling or that doubt or, oh my goodness, is he over there with some other girl or something like that. I've never had that be a problem for me, and I think that is like the most important thing when you are in a relationship and you in a long distance relationship.
And I think that goes vice versa for me with you back home. I mean, it's like, I feel the same way. It's not like I've ever been worried or concerned.
It's never been like even a little bit of an issue for me.
I've never even doubted the fact that it would, or even thought that it was possible.
Yeah. And I think that's like number one for sure is trust. Communication is probably number two, but I'm not that great with it. I'm definitely like, I could probably work on my communication.
But for the most part, I mean, like if...
But for us, it's like, even now when we're together, if there's an issue or if one of us is feeling uneasy, we might go a day without not talking. Kind of have our little stubborn moments, but it's sorted out within a couple of days. Like, it never gets to the point of no return almost.
Yeah, because I mean, that's kind of how I've been brought up, to be upfront and be open with, my relationships that I've had, and even my parents, if they've decided that, I've done something wrong, they've always confronted me straight away. And I think that was always a good grounding for my relationships going forward, is to just, if you've got an issue with someone, you step up, you say what you need to say, we sort it out, and we go back to exactly how we were before. And for the most part, that has been our saving grace, I feel.
From your side, for sure.
For sure.
I am a really stubborn person, and I know exactly who I get it from. But I'm so stubborn, and it's like, it's so difficult for me to not admit that I'm wrong, but like apologize for something. Like, I hate being wrong, and that's my downfall for sure.
Not always right, but never wrong.
And when we have an issue and I kind of know it's my fault, like, I need my time to just figure it out. But the point of this whole is not how stubborn I am, is that we make that effort to kind of sort it out before it gets to a point of like, things just get too bad. And that's the same whether we're together or whether we're apart. We've always had that. There's always, if I felt uneasy about something, I might go off on a little rant at Iain, but it always gets sorted out, There's always we always find the mutual ground, and before we kind of, the first, I would say, year of our relationship, like, I think you start to learn more about each other and you start to open up, and I never like voiced myself in terms of his travels. Like, I would never be like, well, this is such crap,
You can say bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel that, because I'd be like, well, I'm being left here and you're going off traveling and all this, but I can't go with, and that's not fair, kind of thing. But the times I've gone with, I'm like, well, okay, this is not what I thought it was, like before I had gone with him to an event, I was like, he's sitting in Brazil on the beaches, like in the sun, and I'm here like slaving, grafting away, it's not fair, and I don't know what he's doing over there. And then I went to a couple of events with him, and I was like, this is really not that great.
Yeah. Well, I think
It's like,
let's put this in perspective to explain to people what it's like being on the world tour, because you need to understand the levels that we deal with, and like the level of stress and anxiety, and you know, we're dealing with the ocean for one. So to start off, as a bodyboarder, I am riding waves in the ocean. I am competing at a really high level, and
it's your job.
And it's my job. So this is how I get paid. So those three things kind of factor into the way that my brain functions during that time, my anxiety levels, my stress levels, exactly what I do with my spare time while in the events. And people don't understand. When you sit here at home and I'm over there, it's like, you know, I'm constantly thinking about the event, how I can do better, what moves I'm going to do on certain waves, where we're surfing, how big the waves are going to be, how small the waves are going to be. There's just so many different factors, and I cannot give 100% to all of my things while that time is going on. And I think that's where it's been so good to have Rosie, who understands exactly what I'm going through, and herself as a previous competitor, you know those stresses and you know the anxieties that I'm under. And I think if it was anyone else, they wouldn't understand those pressures and those feelings and those mental battles that you chase with yourself. And it's just like, I've been so lucky to kind of, not only our relationship to work so well, but just like that part of our relationship in the competitions, and for you to understand that when I'm over there, okay, maybe I can't give 100% to our relationship every single day, but you know that once the event's over, I'm back 100%. And I think that was the best middle ground that we could find, was the fact that, you know, when I'm over there, you understand that it's a very hectic time. The same as when you were studying. You know, you couldn't give that 100% to the relationship at that time, because you had so much effort and so much mindset put into those studies. And I think that's where we kind of evolved as a couple, and in a relationship like this, is, you know, we have a mutual understanding, and we kind of figure each other out, and we figured each other out, and we know when to give each other space and when to be super harsh on each other, and that was a huge building block for our relationship. And just to be able to find or figure out when that person's stressed, or when they're worried, or when they're anxious, or when, you know, something's not going their way. And I think it was so good for us to figure that out, especially being apart so often, that, I mean, we can both even like pick it up in text, which is crazy to think. Like, I know when you text me a certain way that something is not right, and I can pick up on that. And that's a huge part of our relationship, is just reading each other's language, or body language, or mood, and just figuring out exactly where we need to be, if we need to hold off a little bit, if we need to put a little bit more pressure on the person, and just like kind of hold them down and make them explain their situation. And that's fundamentally how good the relationship has turned out.
Yeah, I think though, like, I know when you're over competing and stuff, that I'm like not priority, not in a bad way, just I know exactly what it's like. I mean, it's a crazy time. I was lucky enough to be there for his world title win, and I think if I was in there, you would have been like just done.
Yeah, there were some big moments.
It was the craziest time, and it was so emotional for the both of us. I mean, every time he's traveling, yeah, I've got my own things going on, yeah, but like I'm fully like your emotional like support system, you know, like you don't really talk to anybody else about it. You know what I mean? Like,
not too many other people, yeah.
No, but like the way you talk to me about it, you know, you kind of unload everything you're feeling on me. And it's crazy because after an event, I am so tired. I'm so like drained from just trying to keep you like positive for however many days you're surfing, just keep you in like the good mindset, and like, you know, just kind of the competitive like vibe that you need to be in. And it's so draining for me, but I just know, like, you need that at that time, you know, and it's okay, like, afterwards we can, you know, sort out whatever else we need to sort out. But also, I think, like, a super important thing for us is we have our own, like, shit going on. Like, you doing your world tour thing, I'm just finished my studies, got my degree, you know, finding myself, and, like, we've never kind of stopped each other from doing what we want to do. And I think that is so important. Like, we've never held each other back. I know that Iain needs to do this. This is his passion. This is, like, he has goals tied to this. On the other hand, I'm going in a kind of a different direction, and we've never stopped each other from kind of going after what we want. And for a relationship to work, any relationship to work, I think you got to have your own shit. You got to have your own thing you going after. But that doesn't mean that you have to be on your own. You can take that person with you. But I think you need to, in order to be happy, you need to be happy with yourself first and what you're doing in your life. And your partner can support you in that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we've been doing. And I think that's why it's also worked so well, is because, you know, we've never, like, restricted each other. We've
never held each other back.
We've only, like, encouraged each other to do it. And I think it's so important for you to be on, like, a mutual understanding of what the other person wants to kind of achieve, you know?
Yeah.
And not be selfish. Like, that's a huge thing. I mean, I could be so selfish in our relationship with not wanting you to leave, you know, like guilting you into going every time kind of thing, you know, and you could do the exact same.
Yeah.
And that's where issues start. I think if you have a good understanding of what each other wants to do, and you encourage that person to do that, but at the same time you kind of go on their journey with them, that's kind of all you need.
Yeah, and I think, like, leading off that, I mean, you know, talking about my successes, they've definitely come from, like, the both of us wanting me to achieve that, and not just me wanting to achieve that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember standing on a beach just before you won your world title, and I was, like, trying to, like, mentally, like, just tell you you're gonna win this kind of thing. Like, I literally might not have invested as much as you have, but for sure emotionally I've been there 100%.
Yeah.
Like, that was definitely, like, a combined effort towards the end there, that day of the world title, when, like, I just, not, like, boasting myself, but I know you would have never emotionally been able to cope that day.
It would have been a really difficult
if
fight.
I wasn't there, kind of thing. And not saying that you need me, but saying that, like, you needed someone.
Yeah.
Someone that knew what was happening in your life at that time, you know? Someone you could kind of just, like, unload all your inner feelings on, you know? And I think I've been a really, like, I don't know, I think I've been quite a big influence on your career.
Self-claim?
I'm gonna claim it because I know I have.
No, for sure.
And not in a like a, I'm not trying to, like, boast myself, but for sure, like, you needed someone
Yeah.
to push you through this.
My personality definitely needs someone to have the backing of someone else, and, you know, that encouragement and constantly pushing me, and, you know, get up, go do something, move, stretch, eat the right food, get out of the house when I've been sitting here too long doing other things that don't really need to be done. And that was that's kind of our relationship, you know, we push each other, and for me, I slow you down when you need to be slowed down, because you don't know when to stop. And I don't know if this is from your family, from your mom's side, because your mom's also kind of on the go, but trying to get Rosie to just relax and chill for, like, an hour a day is probably the most difficult task that I've ever been handed. And I know from my mom, like my mom is a really, really good athlete. She has run her own businesses, she's run events, she's done a whole bunch of stuff. And just from that and watching someone like that go the whole time without a break, that's kind of like what Rosie does. So it's been kind of crazy to transition from living at home, and then obviously Rosie and I are moving in together, and now I'm kind of doing the same for you. And I think it's really tough. That's one thing that I really battle with, is leaving, because I don't know if you are kind of taking breaks when you're home, or if it's just like go and try to get everything done in the shortest amount of time and then find more stuff to do. So, you know, on that side, I've just got to kind of trust in the process and just be like, you know, well, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and there's nothing else we can really do about it.
Yeah, I mean, with that whole thing of leaving, in the past, I was like not in a great place, and my only way of kind of dealing with it was to stay busy and to do those things that made me kind of feel like I was in control. And I knew that was like such a big worry for Iain, because I mean, I will like work myself to death for sure, whether that be training, my actual job, or when I was still studying. Like, I would be crazy. And it's like, I've never kind of had somebody like not tell me what to do, but kind of like, yeah, like slow me down and be like, it's okay to take a couple of hours off a day and that kind of thing. And now that I'm kind of finding my way back and like I'm sorting myself out and stuff, I'm like realizing that like I don't need to do 50 things in like an hour, you know? I can kind of just chill and kind of find my vibe again. And that's something I struggle with when he leaves now, is I'm aware of how much I do, and if I don't have that person there that's like kind of like keeping track of me, I'll do like 10,000 things at once, you know? And that's caused us some conflict when you've been gone, you know?
Huge, yeah.
Like, Ian's really good at picking up when I wouldn't say I'm being naughty, but when I'm doing the things I'm not supposed to be doing, like kind of just overworking myself completely and that sort of thing. And he like calls me out on it, and I get super bummed. I get angry because I'm like, well, you're not here. You don't really have the right to say things like that. And that's kind of like, that's my, coming from my side, that's kind of the jabs I take at him, is I'm like, well, you're not here. And I know it's wrong, but in that moment, that's kind of how I feel, you know? I feel like, yeah, you're not at home, so you don't really have anything to say about it, kind of thing, and you can't really tell me what to do or how to act, or not that you do in a negative way, but like, you know what I'm saying. It's just like, there's so many times, and I have quite a few friends that are also in like the same boat as me, where they boyfriends or fiancés or whatever are working abroad. And I like, often I talk to them, and that's another huge what do you call it?
Like helping hand.
Yeah, but I can't remember the word. But that's helped me so much, is talking to people who understand what I'm going through, you know? And saying to them, like, it's so unfair. I remember speaking to one of my good friends, and her fiance works on the yachts. And I was just like to her, it's such bullshit. Like, you know, we just got to kind of wait around here type of thing. You know, not that I do sit around waiting for you every day, but like, you get what I mean, you know? And I was like, it's so unfair. Like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. And then she's like, it's okay, you know? And it helps talking to people who understand. And there's been some very like pivotal moments in our relationship where I've been very, very angry at Iain for leaving. You know, like, prime example, like day before my birthday.
Yeah.
and missing my graduation.
Missing Valentine's Day.
I'm not too phased about that. But like things like birthdays and like big events like Valentine's Day, graduations, which I was very, very bummed about. I definitely held a little bit of a grudge against Iain for quite some time, because I was like, this is like the biggest thing that's happened in my life in the lot since we've kind of been together. And like, I was there for when you won the world title, and you can't be here when I graduate. Like, I was so sour about it. And like, he knew, but you kind of get over it. I mean,
But
to me,
at
it's
the
like,
same time, there was nothing I could have done. Like, I was in South
but
America.
you see, that's where I feel like there you have a choice. Like, just hear me out. In that moment, I was like, you definitely have a choice, you know, like you could have gone a little bit later, like maybe you would have missed the first day of competition. Like, I was like, there's definitely a choice, and you just like chose to go, you know. But then after it all happened and I kind of thought about it, I was like, there actually really wasn't a choice.
No.
I get it's your job, and it's like you need to go and do this. You're not like choosing to, well, you kind of are, but like, you got to also look at it in a point, on the point of, it's your job.
Yeah.
This is how you're earning money.
And it's written in my contract that I should be there.
This is what it's written in our contract that you should have been at my graduation. I swear, this guy's, if we ever get married one day, he's gonna miss our wedding too.
No, I won't.
I mean, standing there alone with you on freaking FaceTime. It's just those moments make it so hard. But if you want this to work, then you got to kind of, at some point, you got to swallow that pill and get through it. Like, you have to. Otherwise, it will never work.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just...
those moments, you can't let that, like, define our relationship, you know? No. I could still be bummed at you for missing that, but... You know, there's literally like nothing we could have done, and it was what it was, kind of thing. But of course, there's been times where we've been like, this is like just ridiculous, you know. And there's just like, I've definitely had those feelings where I've just been like, it's I don't know if this is worth it, you know. Like, it's definitely come up. I'd be lying if I said it hadn't. And when we get into our, like, fights or our kind of arguments and stuff, like, I always think to myself, like, I don't know if I want to do this forever, kind of thing. Which are, they're super valid feelings. I mean, I think everybody's gone through that, whether you're in a long-distance relationship or not. And... it's hard when we like together for a short period of time, knowing that in the next month you're just gonna leave again, you know. And it's hard to adjust to having you home and then not having you home, and then having you home, not having you home. And we've never kind of spent enough time together to kind of be like, oh, okay, this is what it's like to spend this amount of time with you, you know. Until lockdown.
Yeah, so during this quarantine period will be the longest period of time that Rosie and I will spend together.
In our 4 years together.
In our 4-year relationship. So we have a lot to learn about each other.
So wish us good luck.
I think that...
it's been good so far.
It's been really good. We've had one kind of serious argument, and it was sorted within a couple of hours.
Very heated, but
we got it sorted. And I think, you know, just to kind of explain to you guys a little bit about our relationship and how it works and how we make it work, and going forward is super important for us to just share these moments with you guys.
There's definitely like key things you need to have in your relationship, and I think in any relationship, honestly, like to make it work. So the two most important things I would say that any relationship would need is trust and communication. I mean, if you don't have trust, you've got nothing, basically. And that's kind of with any relationship, you know. You don't want to, especially for me in a long distance relationship, I don't want to have to worry about what he's doing over in Portugal or wherever you are, Hawaii. I don't want to have to worry about that, and I don't have to worry about that because we have such a good trust between us, you know. Since day one, I've known like I can trust him, and you know he's not going to screw me over, and I think you feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of been, our relationship happened really quickly. Like, you know, the normal steps people take, we took like them 10 times faster, I would say.
Yeah.
But there was literally never like a reason for us to not go that quickly, you know. We've always kind of have a really good connection, I think.
Yeah, we never really doubted the situation. We just like,
no.
We were like, okay, if we're gonna make this, you know, even since you first came up to Durban, it was like, if we're gonna make it work, it's gonna work now. And that's pretty much how our entire relationship has gone. And I think that's like, it's really special when you kind of find someone that's willing to take that relationship so seriously and dive in with you. And that's been huge for me. I mean, it's been unbelievable to have Rosie along for some pivotal moments in my career. And you know, we started dating on the first year I won my first event, the second year I won a world title, and it's just literally been the dream run for me. And I think our relationship plays a huge role in my success, and I mean, I'm forever grateful for that and for having Rosie and her family, because I feel that's something we haven't touched on either, that we can
My family's like the biggest Ian Campbell supporter ever.
I think we can really touch on that in another video, and I mean in another podcast. We can really touch on that in another podcast and just kind of talk about, you know, the family dynamic that we have here. I mean, we are living in a granny flat in the back of Rosie's parents' house, and it's literally been the biggest helping hand for us. And you know, I'll forever be grateful for the situation that we found ourselves in, and how this is all working, and the love that your family has for me,
and vice versa.
Support, and it's just been incredible. And
that's also, I would say, like a big thing to relationships is I'm quite a family person, and you are too. And it's like, if one part of the family doesn't agree with, you know, certain things in our relationship, or in a relationship, that can cause a lot of damage. And I think on either sides, we basically have the greatest situation ever. You know, like, I know that his parents, like, I can go to them with anything and everything, and when Ian's overseas, like, they support me so much too. And I know I can, like, always speak to your mom, your dad, anyone on your side of the family about how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And you the same. I mean, my parents are like, when he's competing, they're like glued to the TV screen, like, biggest supporters ever. And that is so important. That is so important. And that's one thing I always promised myself was, if I ever start dating someone, my family has to approve them, you know. It'd be such a no, but of
it'd
course
be such a tough situation.
It would be such a horrible situation. And I know there's relationships like that out there, and it's unfair, because I mean, you should have the right to choose the person you want to be with, right? And hopefully your family supports that decision. And that's what I wanted my family to support my decision. But I never really dated when I was in high school. Like, I just didn't kind of want to. I just was, maybe just because I was never okay with my whole situation going on. But I never really kind of dated anyone, you know. And it was like, when I met Ian, my parents knew who Ian was from past events and like the whole bodyboarding scene and everything, because my brother's quite into it too. But like, they didn't know you. They knew who you were, kind of thing.
They knew of me. They didn't know me.
Yeah, and when we kind of started getting together, like, I knew my parents were a bit wary just because, you know, you hear things and you're tied to other people that are, like, you know, have kind of a reputation and just all that kind of thing. And when I met him, I was like, I just kind of want him to meet my parents for real, you know, kind of just get to know you. And honestly, like, it all happened so quick. I mean, I went out to Durban to just kind of hang out with Iain for a couple of days, and I met your whole family basically.
Yeah.
And it just happened as it should have happened. You know, we didn't try to make things happen, and we didn't like force things to move that quickly, and you didn't force anything on me and I didn't force anything on you. It was kind of just, we met when we should have, and things happened when they should have,
and it worked.
It just worked. There was no like issue or no like, it didn't feel like it was like hard work.
Yeah.
Our relationship has never felt like hard work
difficult.
to me.
Yeah.
Not once have I sat here and been like, this is like killing me kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we've had our differences and we've had our arguments and we've had our times when we've both been like, is this really what we want? But we never seem to like go in the opposite direction of each other. It's always been, I mean, I still, like, every time he comes home, I still get like so nervous. Not nervous.
From international travel, not when I come home from the shops.
No. But I still get like those, like, all those emotions, like the first time I did, you know, because I mean, we'd be gone for like, or we'd be apart for like almost 3 months at a time, sometimes. That's a long time, and a lot of things change in that time, you know. And yeah, when you come home, I don't know if you feel the same, but it's
for
still
sure.
like that exciting part of it, and that's kind of like, I hate the leaving part, but the coming back part, I'm always like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm like so into it. And it's actually really funny because the last trip he came home, like, how long were you gone for?
2 months.
Shit, it was
6
long.
weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
What was your last trip? Oh, Hawaii, of course.
Yeah.
Like, it felt so long, and like, he didn't even recognize me. Like, that's what I'm saying. So much happens, and you for me, I kind of just carry on with my life, and you do too, you know. Of course we talk every day and we kind of communicate and stuff, but like, you don't share everything that's happened. And there's days where I'm like, I don't want to talk to you, you know. And no like hard feelings, like, I know it hurts and stings a little bit, but there's just days I just don't want to talk to you, you know. And maybe you feel the same way, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like, I don't want to message you, or I don't want to call you. It might sound harsh, but it's the truth. And it's not because I don't want to talk to you. It's just like, I'm busy with my stuff. And I want to kind of just have this day to myself. I don't want to have to like message you every 5 minutes kind of thing. And that's what we're really good at, is we can go 2 days without talking, but then the very next day we'll pick up where we left off, or we'll be like, are you okay? You know, like, is something going on?
All right?
And then I'll be like, I'm fine. And then Ian's like, okay, I'll wait a couple more days, and then usually I'll come and be like, bro, you will never guess what just happened to me, or kind of thing like that. And then there's days where I want to talk to him for the whole day, and I want to share my whole day with him, and, you know, kind of things like that. But that's what we're good at. We give each other the space when we need it, and we kind of just... in each other's faces when we just want to be in each other's faces. And, you know, I always know that I can be like, Iain, I'm in shit, or Iain, I need your help, or this is what happened, and there's never like that hesitation that he's just gonna write me off. I know you'll like stop whatever you're doing and sort it out, or try and sort it out, you know. And I think that's the same for you, kind of thing. So it's nice to have that person that you can kind of literally depend on for anything. It just it helps. And with the long distance relationship, it is so important to have that kind of stability in the relationship. I mean, I don't think we had a choice, really.
No, of course we had a choice.
Yeah, but to make it work, because we wanted it to work, so we didn't have a choice. We had to make sure that all those things were working in order for us to stay together. Yeah. And to have a pretty decent relationship too. I mean, I feel like I've known you forever.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, we share a lot, and you know, there's not a lot of secrets between us, and I think that's huge. And when you can trust someone like that and be able to discuss, you know, anything, whether it be health related or how you're feeling during the day, or when your anxiety is spiking, and we've been fortunate enough to just have that trust between each other that we can be like, okay, well, you know, I'm having a shit day and can you give me some space, or I'm having a really good day, I want you here, or you know, whatever it might be. And I think that's where we just gel, and we just work so well as a team. And you know, I think that's a huge part of why the long distance relationship is actually working for us. And it's huge, and it's super good for the both of us, and it works. And I think that respect is a massive thing that we share, and I just never want to lose that, you know, that connection that I have, and it's super important.
I think for me, if we ever had to go our separate ways, it would be so difficult to find somebody that kind of understands me like you do, and knows what I've been through in my life.
Let's not talk about that.
No, it's just like, for me, I've always felt like a relationship should never be difficult.
Yeah.
It should never make you feel like crap all the time, and it should never make you second guess whether this should be a healthy relationship you want to be in. Like, with any relationship, with your friend, with your family, with your significant other, with your wife, husband, whatever, it should not be difficult.
Never. Yeah.
And that was like a big thing for me. If this was going to be difficult, and if it felt like I just kept giving and giving and giving, and just like nothing's happening, and you know, that kind of thing, then I wouldn't be there for it. You know, that was like a promise I made to myself, but I was lucky enough to never have to feel that way. It's just worked for us, and that's, I think if you find that one person, you kind of do whatever it took, you know? You know what?
I'm getting a little bit warm here.
You'd kind of do whatever it takes to make it work, no matter how difficult it is to do those things.
Yeah.
But I know that, you know, our relationship's never been difficult. Things in our relationship might have been difficult, and things that we've had to do, and things might have not felt great, but there's never been a point where I've been like, this is not working, you know? This is just a load of horseshit. It's never been like that. And what makes it so much better is the time we do spend together is like the greatest time ever. It's like so good. We literally just kind of basically just, you know, do whatever we want in that time. And of course it's bittersweet, because I know you have to leave, and you kind of also get pretty bummed when you have to leave. And I wish I could travel the world with him, but that was just kind of not in our kind of plans for those couple of years. Maybe in the future, when we get to travel again. But I'm so happy that I've been able to go to a couple of events and experience it with you and get a better understanding of what it's like, which is a huge thing. Because before I was just like, this guy's just living the dream. He's just traveling the world and just, you know, I mean, still I get people like, oh, it must be nice. And I'm like, bro, you just not. You have no idea. I mean, I remember I went to Portugal last year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Last year we went to the Portugal event, And I was there with like Ian and Tristan and everyone, and I was just like, this is hard work, man. You know, it's, you sit around waiting, you can't do much because you can't kind of go sightseeing because they might run the event and they keep you on the line, and it's like stressful, man. You like, every time one of like my guys overheat, I'm in like a freaking frenzy. It's hard work, and it's long days on the beach, and I know people are like, oh, but you're on the beach, but you don't understand. Like, you're in the blaring sun, you're not really that comfortable, you're uneasy, you kind of stressed, you know, it's hard. And I mean, of course it's amazing, it's good fun, and it's like you're traveling the world, and that's amazing, but at the same time it's not all sunshine and roses, and you're sitting there like, you know,
sunburnt after 5 days in the blaring sun.
It's hard, and then you get hit with flu, and it's just hard. But amazing memories are made and will be made, and it's great. But it's also like people have a really different perspective when you've never kind of experienced it. And that's maybe another topic we can talk about, life on tour.
Yeah, we'll definitely dive into that a bit more and just discuss the kind of the stress and anxiety and...
But that's just what's helped me kind of deal with those situations, is I know what it's like when you're over there competing, you know? It's hard, and sometimes it gets very long, and I know you just want to come home and you're over it, but those are like the moments where I need to be like, you need to just get a reality check.
Cupcake.
That's where we're good for each other, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And
so should we wrap this up?
We can wrap it up. So
just, I think, you know, from the both of us, and if anyone is wondering if they can do with this long distance or try it out, just remember, trust that person, make sure those lines of communication are open, and if you aren't in a relationship that's easy, you're probably in the wrong one. I think it's safe to say that if your relationship doesn't feel like it should, it's not like a dream run.
Not necessarily that, but if you keep second guessing it, and if it's just, I don't know.
If you don't have trust, and you don't have communication.
I would say trust your gut feeling. That's probably the best way to put it. And if it keeps telling you to leave, then maybe there's something worth checking out and talking about. But definitely communicating 100% and trusting your other person, you know, and it should all be great then, hopefully.
So that's a wrap on our third episode, and we were just super stoked to get this topic out there. I know a lot of people have asked us questions about our relationship and how we keep it working, and basically we just wanted to let you guys know exactly how we keep doing this year after year. And you know, on our 4 years of long distance relationship, we've probably seen each other for just over 2 of those 4 years, which is quite scary. But
two of Ian's best years ever.
Yeah, so stay tuned for more. We should be putting out another podcast within the next 2 weeks or so, and if you guys can comment, or if you want to DM us directly, please go ahead and check us out on Instagram or YouTube or any other social medias that you can find us on. And we will see you guys in the next one.
See ya!